Okay, hello everyone, good evening.
Hi, teacher.
Okay, hello. We are going to start our class, our session today. This is our class number 9 on level B1.4. Today is May 16. So let me show you the agenda. Here we have it. Sorry. Okay, so first we're going to do a short activity to review what we studied yesterday, to describing the pictures. Then we're going to study the vocabulary from Unit 4 about personal characteristics. The last vocabulary that we didn't study yesterday. And then we're going to do some review activities for this level, B1.4. So they are related to units 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have different activities. And finally, a speaking game called Snakes and Ladders is a speaking activity in groups. Okay, so this is our agenda for today for our class. Let's start today by checking the attendance. Give me just a moment. And we'll start checking the attendance. All right, let's check the attendance for today. First, Karen Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
Santiago Fonseca.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Kiara Martinez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jorge Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay. Diego Olarte.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Manuel Ortiz.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Joan Sebastián Pavón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Beatriz Pedraza.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Xiomara Rincón.
Present.
Okay. Next, Jessica Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Catherine Rodríguez.
Present, miss.
All right. Marlon Sánchez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Continuing, Mendy Santa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Manuel Sepúlveda. Manuel. María Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
Okay. And Vanessa Zambrano.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Very good. All right, guys, so let's start today. As I told you, let's describe these pictures, these images, using what we learned yesterday. So remember to have something done or to get something done. So I will give you a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, to think about sentences that can describe these pictures, okay? Using have or get plus the verb in the passive voice. Right? 2 or 3 minutes, and then we will all share these sentences. Mandy? Mandy,
Yes, teacher.
did you complete the survey, la encuesta?
No, teacher.
Can I ask why? Do you need any information?
Yes, teacher. Could you send me the link?
Okay. Right, guys. So let's check your sentences. How did you describe each of these pictures, okay? So for example, for the first one, the first image, how can you describe it?
She's having her hair styled.
Yes, she is having her hair styled. Let's write it. She's having her hair styled. Okay, good. For the second picture, here, this is a car.
He had her car fixed.
He had his car fixed. or he is having his car fixed. It's also correct. Cuando hablamos de imágenes o descripciones de imágenes, generalmente usamos el tiempo continuo, ¿no? Porque pues la imagen está como en la acción continua. Ella se está arreglando el cabello, ¿no? Entonces aquí él está arreglando su carro. He is having his car fixed, or he had his car fixed. All right, now for this third picture.
They are having a house plant.
Yes, they are having a house planned. Yes, or remodeled, remodelada. Yes. Any other option for this one?
They are reviewing of the drawings
Yes,
of drawings.
they are having the drawings reviewed. Okay, it can be, but I think it's more about the house. They are having the house remodeled, or they are having the house redesigned. She is having her house designed. Very good. Okay, for the fourth picture, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the description for number 4?
Maybe he's fixing the plumbing.
Yes. In this case, we can say he's fixing the tap, lavaplatos. He's repairing the dishwasher. No, este no es el dishwasher porque no es la máquina, sino como la tubería, the tap. Okay. He's fixing the tap, or he is repairing the tap. Very good. Si quisiéramos usarlo para a otras personas que lo pagaron, entonces diríamos, they are having the tap fixed. Okay, they are having the tap fixed by a plumber. Ellos mandaron a arreglar el lavaplatos. Okay, the sink by a plumber. And the last one, the last picture. Diego sent a sentence. She had her makeup done. Okay, in this case, we cannot use make. She had her makeup done. Okay, let me show you something. Okay, guys, sorry. I just want to show you this quickly, the differences between do and make, okay? So you can see the graphic. Do is for work, jobs, and tasks. So do the housework, do your homework. For non-specific activities, do something, do nothing, do everything. replace the verb when it is obvious. So do your hair, do the dishes, do the exam, do the laundry. And these are the uses for do. Then we have to make. Is made of gold, made in China. That something produces a reaction. So make your eyes water, make you happy, make for plans and decisions. So make a decision, make a plan. For sounds and speaking, make a noise, make a suggestion, make a speech. And for food, drinks, and meals, we say make. So make a cake, make breakfast, make dinner, make a cup of coffee, all right? So you can take a picture or Google it online just to remember the different uses of do and make. That is the only thing. Vanessa, what's your question? These sentences would be in active voice? No, most of these sentences are in the passive voice with have and get. Ok, estas, las oraciones, las que hicimos, la mayoría están en la voz pasiva con have o get, a excepción de la que hicimos del primero, ¿no? He is fixing the sink, esa sería la voz activa. Si digo, they are having the sink fixed, esa sería voz pasiva, ok? Passive voice with have or with get. All right. Okay, guys, perfect. So let's start the last part of the book. What we need to cover from yesterday's class that we didn't finish was the vocabulary on page 41, right? Listening and vocabulary about personal characteristics. So you can open your books on page 41. We're going to finish this part about the personal characteristics, okay? So let's take a look at the picture. This picture where we have a photo of 6 men who spent nearly 18 months alone, well, together in a space capsule, en una cápsula espacial. They were there for almost 18 months. So tell me, what do you think it was like? ¿Cómo fue esto? What do you think this was like? What do you think their biggest problems were? And do you think you could cope with this situation? Entonces tenemos 3 preguntas. ¿Cómo creen que fue esta situación? ¿Cuál creen que fue su problema más grande o sus problemas más grandes? Y ¿ustedes creen que podrían lidiar con esta situación? Estar casi 18 meses en una cápsula espacial con 5 personas más, okay? With 5 other people. So I will give you a couple of minutes, 3 minutes to think about your answers, and then we are going to discuss, okay? Just 3 minutes. All right, let's discuss and compare your answers. So for the first question, who would like to participate? What do you think this was like, this experience? No volunteers? What was this experience like? Okay, we have, okay, Jorge.
I think that this situation is very complex because they could feel frustrated with the time.
Yes, they could be frustrated as time passes, right? The time goes on. You feel bored, it's repetitive, you get frustrated. All right. And for the second question, what do you think their biggest problems were? Any other person, any other student that would like to participate?
Miss, I think maybe going to the bathroom or take shower, or maybe they don't have enough space to sleep or eat or
Okay, so mostly going to the bathroom, limitation of a space, of food as well. All right, no personal space for you.
yes.
All right, good. And the last question, do you think you could cope with this situation? Would you be able to deal with this situation? Or would you like to be in this situation? No, Diego says definitely you couldn't. You couldn't deal with this or cope with the situation. Definitely you couldn't. It's a very difficult, right? It's a very difficult and extreme experience. Vanessa says, if to go to space, yes. Would you like to travel to space and live this experience?
Yes, teacher.
All right, good. So let's see now, guys, we are going to listen to this radio program about the Mars 500 mission, okay? So listen, and then we are going to answer these 4 questions. Question number one. What was unusual about the Mars 500 mission? What is unusual? 2, which countries did the crew come from? ¿De qué países venían los miembros del equipo, the crew? 3, what was the main point of the mission? Punto el objetivo de la misión. And number 4, what personality traits do astronauts need according to the program? ¿Qué características de la personalidad requieren los astronautas según este programa, according to the program? All right, let's play the audio and then you will answer the questions.
Unit 4, Recording 6.
This week, it has been reported that the Mars 500 space mission has landed after more than 17 months. With us to discuss this fascinating experiment is our science correspondent, David Simpson. David, for those listeners who are not familiar with the Mars 500 mission, could you tell us about it?
Well, the Mars 500 mission was actually a simulated space mission in which 6 international volunteers, 3 Russians, 2 other Europeans and a Chinese man, spent 520 days in a space capsule buried beneath a car park in a suburb of Moscow.
And what exactly was the point of that?
Well, scientists wanted to study the physical and especially the psychological effects of spending that amount of time in the confinement and isolation of a space capsule, which is, of course, what a space crew would have to do if they travelled to Mars, for example.
And why is that useful?
Well, it would help in future to select the right kind of people to take part in this kind of mission. So, for example, the crew's stress levels and moods were carefully monitored, and the kind of issues that created conflict.
And what did they find?
Well, the data is still being analysed. However, while it has been stressed by the ESA, the European Space Agency, that overall the 6 men got on well and worked successfully as a team, although there were issues, certainly.
For example?
Well, you have to remember that the 6 men had to deal with the boredom and isolation of 17 months together, and it seems that in these highly stressful circumstances, small jealousies can easily become a problem. For example, the men had a lot of chores and tasks which they had to share out and organise themselves, and it was felt that the workload wasn't always fair, and this caused problems. There were also jealousies over who had the most contact with their family and friends back home, and there were also certain tensions between the different nationalities.
Wouldn't it have been easier if all the men had been of the same nationality?
Possibly, but you have to remember that any future mission to Mars will almost certainly be international, so this was one of the issues that had to be looked at.
So what conclusions can be drawn about the kind of people that are suitable for such a mission in future?
Well, as I say, the data is still being analysed, but I think there are certain obvious conclusions. The crew of any such mission would have to be extremely self-sufficient to deal with the incredible boredom and isolation, and to be able to deal with all the unexpected problems that might arise during the mission. This is also an incredibly stressful situation, and so they would have to be able to stay calm under pressure, and obviously they would need to be able to get on with each other and work as a team, yet provide leadership where necessary.
Does it ever happen that crews on missions like this simply don't get on?
Well, generally the crew's frustrations tend to be directed towards the ground crew at mission control. It is common for the space crew to complain that they are not being sufficiently supported by the ground crew. But there was one case where the 2 crew members on a mission together didn't get on at all.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it was a Russian space mission in 1982, and the 2 crew members hardly spoke to each other for the whole 211-day mission, because they just got on each other's nerves, basically. They just didn't like each other.
Imagine spending 211 days alone with someone you can't stand. That certainly sounds stressful. David Simpson, thank you very much. And now to something a little more.
All right, guys, did you get some of the answers for questions 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Some of them.
Some of them? Okay, so let's correct, because we need to listen again to do point 3. So we're going to listen only once for number 2, and then we listen again for point 3. So what was unusual about the Mars 500 mission? What did you understand? What was unusual? No answer in this case. All right. So the unusual thing was that this mission was a simulated space mission. It was not in real space, right? It was done here on Earth. It was a simulated mission. For question number 2, which countries did the crew come from?
3 Russian, 2 Europe, and 1 Chinese people.
Yes, Russians, European, and 1 Chinese. Russia, Europe, and China. Good. Number 3, what was the main point, objective of the mission?
Select the sleep people in this kind of mission.
Yes, it was to study
physical and psychological state.
Yes, good. It was done to study, I will show you, the physical and the psychological effects of spending that time on a space capsule. And for number 4, the personality traits or characteristics that are needed were get on well, so work as a team, provide leadership, be self-sufficient, and stay calm under pressure. All right? Entonces, que se llevaran bien, que trabajaran en equipo, aunque también debían dar al liderazgo, ser autosuficientes y mantener la calma bajo presión. These were the most important characteristics. All right, guys, so we're going to listen one more time, and you're going to circle the correct option in each case, okay? So for number 1, let's read it. Beatriz, can you read number 1, please?
Yes, teacher. The mission lasted almost more than 80 months.
18 months. Okay. Diego, can you read the second one?
Yes, teacher. Second, the crew were volunteers or professional astronauts.
The crew were volunteers or professional astronauts. Okay. Number 3, Joan.
In general, the men got on well together.
Well together. Okay, so you are already selecting well. Okay, number 4, Jorge. Number 5.
They all had the same or different amounts of contact with people back home.
The same or different amounts of contact with people back home. Karen, number 6.
The crew on a space mission are fed up, they normally blame each other, their colleagues on the ground.
Their colleagues on the ground. So, aquí dice, si el equipo en una misión espacial está cansado, ya harto, se culpan entre ellos o a sus colegas, compañeros que están en la Tierra, ¿no? Entonces, cuando ellos están en el espacio, sí se culpan a ellos o a los que están abajo en la Tierra. And the last one, number 7, Catherine, let's read it.
On a space mission in 1982, the crew shouted at or avoid communicating with each other.
Entonces, en esa misión de 1982, el equipo se gritaba entre ellos o evitaban la comunicación entre ellos. Okay, we are going to listen one more time and then you will circle the correct option.
Unit 4, Recording 6.
This week, it has been reported that the Mars 500 space mission has landed after more than 17 months. With us to discuss this fascinating experiment is our science correspondent, David Simpson. David, for those listeners who are not familiar with the Mars 500 mission, could you tell us about it?
Well, the Mars 500 mission was actually a simulated space mission in which 6 international volunteers, 3 Russians, 2 other Europeans and a Chinese man, spent 520 days in a space capsule buried beneath a car park in a suburb of Moscow.
And what exactly was the point of that?
Well, scientists wanted to study the physical and especially the psychological effects of spending that amount of time in the confinement and isolation of a space capsule, which is, of course, what a space crew would have to do if they travelled to Mars, for example.
And why is that useful?
Well, it would help in future to select the right kind of people to take part in this kind of mission. So, for example, the crew's stress levels and moods were carefully monitored and the kind of issues that created conflict.
And what did they find?
Well, the data is still being analysed. However, while it has been stressed by the ESA, the European Space Agency, that overall the 6 men got on well and worked successfully as a team, although there were issues, certainly.
For example?
Well, you have to remember that the 6 men had to deal with the boredom and isolation of 17 months together, and it seems that in these highly stressful circumstances, small jealousies can easily become a problem. For example, the men had a lot of chores and tasks which they had to share out and organise themselves, and it was felt that the workload wasn't always fair, and this caused problems. There were also jealousies over who had the most contact with their family and friends back home, and there were also certain tensions between the different nationalities.
Wouldn't it have been easier if all the men had been of the same nationality?
Possibly, but you have to remember that any future mission to Mars will almost certainly be international, so this was one of the issues that had to be looked at.
So what conclusions can be drawn about the kind of people that are suitable for such a mission in future?
Well, as I say, the data is still being analysed, but I think there are certain obvious conclusions. The crew of any such mission would have to be extremely self-sufficient to deal with the incredible boredom and isolation, and to be able to deal with all the unexpected problems that might arise during the mission. This is also an incredibly stressful situation, and so they would have to be able to stay calm under pressure, and obviously they would need to be able to get on with each other and work as a team, yet provide leadership where necessary.
Does it ever happen that crews on missions like this simply don't get on?
Well, generally the crew's frustrations tend to be directed towards the ground crew at mission control. It is common for the space crew to complain that they are not being sufficiently supported by the ground crew. But there was one case where the 2 crew members on a mission together didn't get on at all.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it was a Russian space mission in 1982, and the 2 crew members hardly spoke to each other for the whole 211-day mission, because they just got on each other's nerves, basically. They just didn't like each other.
Imagine spending 211 days alone with someone you can't stand. That certainly sounds stressful. David Simpson, thank you very much. And now to something a little more...
All right, guys, let's correct. So for number 1, the mission lasted almost or more than 18 months.
Almost.
Almost.
No, more than.
More
They
than
say more than 18 months. Yes, more than 18 months. Okay, for the second one, the crew were volunteers or professional astronauts?
volunteers.
They were all volunteers, yes. In general, the men got on well. They got on well together. They disagreed over who was in charge or who did what jobs. ¿Quién hacía cada trabajo? No. Who was in charge? ¿Quién estaba a cargo? Discutían sobre quién estaba a cargo o sobre la distribución de las tareas.
I think it was jobs.
Who did what jobs? Yes. Number 5, they all had the same or different amounts of contact with people back home.
Different.
I think it is different. They all had different contacts back home. Number 6, if the crew is fed up, they normally blame each other or their colleagues on the ground.
Blame each other.
Blame each other.
No, their colleagues on the ground. Cuando nos dice que las misiones espaciales, si ellos están, tienen quejas o están como ya fastidiados, hartos, lo culpan a las personas que están en la Tierra manejando la misión, no entre ellos. And the last one, number 7, the crew shouted at or avoided communicating with each other.
Shouted at.
No. Avoided communicating with each other. It was very difficult, this activity. We didn't get most of the answers correct. Entonces debíamos tomar nota y prestar atención. Aquí nos dice que ellos casi no hablaban. Los miembros de este grupo, de este equipo, casi no hablaban entre ellos. Okay, very good. Okay, guys, so to finish this part of the vocabulary, I want you to think which characteristics from this box would be an advantage, a disadvantage, or both for a mission like the Mars 500. Entonces, para una misión como esta, la de Mars 500, ¿cuáles características de las que vemos acá serían una ventaja, advantage, disadvantage, desventaja o both, ventaja y desventaja? Alguno puede ser ambas, ¿ok? So we have argumentative, calm, humorous, introvert, rebellious, talkative, arrogant, extrovert, humorless, jealous, resilient, good in a team, attention-seeking, hot-tempered, individualistic, needy, self-sufficient, and uncommunicative. All right, I will give you, yes?
What is the meaning of humorless?
Humorless. Sin sentido del humor, humorless. Okay? Is the opposite of humorous. Humorless. Sin humor, sin sentido del humor. All right? So you are going to write in front of each word the letters. So for example, argumentative, yo diría que es una disadvantage. Letter D, okay? Entonces ponemos A si es una ventaja, D desventaja, o B si es ambas, ventaja y desventaja, okay? So argumentative for me is a disadvantage. You're going to do the same with all the other words, the other adjectives, and then we will compare, okay? We will compare your answers. Okay, guys, let's start checking your answers. So let's see, Jessica, for the second adjective, calm. What did you put? Advantage, disadvantage, or both? Jessica? No? Okay.
Advantage.
For calm is advantage. We can say A. Yes. Vanessa, for humorous, what did you put? Vanessa?
Teacher, advantage.
Advantage, okay. You say an advantage. Okay, then Xiomara for introvert.
Teacher, maybe both.
Maybe both, okay. I will put the colors better. So green is advantage and yellow would be both. Introvert, both, okay. Santiago, for rebellious, what did you select?
Disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage, all right. Rebellious. Then Manuela, talkative. Hablador, talkative.
Oh, both, teacher, I put both.
Both, okay. So we can say yellow, both. It can be good or bad, okay. Natalia, for arrogant. What did you say? Arrogant. Natalia, not here? Mandy.
Teacher,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage? Disadvantage. Okay, Mandy, next, extrovert. What did you select? Advantage, disadvantage, or both? Extrovert.
Teacher, maybe both
Maybe both, okay.
or advantage. In some
Advantage,
cases, the people can thinking is an disadvantage.
so
Right?
it's both.
In some cases.
Okay, so
Yes.
it is both. For you, it's both, okay. Marlon, humorless.
For me, disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage, yes, I agree. Okay, Maria, for jealous.
Disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage as well, yes. Kiara, for resilient. What is it?
Advantage.
Is an advantage, of course. Resilient. Catherine, for good in a team.
Advantage means.
Is an advantage. Karen, attention seeking. Que busca llamar la atención. Attention seeking.
Disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage. All right. Jorge, for hot-tempered.
Disadvantage.
Is a disadvantage. Diego, for individualistic.
Disadvantage, teacher.
Is a disadvantage. Joan, needy. Needy, como necesitado de afecto, de atención. Needy. Joan? Or maybe Beatriz, needy. What do you think?
Disadvantage, teacher.
It's a disadvantage. All right. And for the last two, self-sufficient. What do you guys think? Autosuficiente is an advantage, yes. An advantage. And uncommunicative
Disadvantage.
is also a disadvantage. All right. Very good. Good, guys. Excellent. So that was about the vocabulary, the last part for the adjectives. Now we're going to continue with some activities to review our level B1.4. So let's start. I have an activity here called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And this is to review the narrative tenses. So remember in Unit 3, we studied the narrative tenses, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, present perfect, all of this. So you have 6 questions here. You are going to select the correct option in each case, all right? I'll give you some minutes. And please share your results once you finish, okay? In this game, you can use some lifelines. Acá tienen como ayudas en el juego, okay? Si no saben la respuesta, pues las pueden usar, all right? There you have the link. Let's practice, and then we correct it together. right? Let me know when you finish, okay? What are your results? Okay, thank you, Beatriz. I see your answer. Okay, let's correct. So we have the first. I solidly for 6 hours yesterday. What did you select?
Read.
I read, es el verbo en pasado. I read for 6 hours yesterday. Okay, next is Lucy went back to see the village where she
Had grown up.
Grown up.
had grown up. Yes, letter D, had grown up. Then we have next, number 3. We had to walk home because we
Had missed.
had missed, letter A, had missed the last train. It is correct. Next, what, when I came in just now, you are looking very guilty.
What were you doing?
B, what were you doing? It is correct. Next, I for the company for a few months when I was made redundant.
Had only been working.
Had only been working. Yes, and the last, number 6, attention, so I slipped on the wet pavement.
I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention, so I slipped on the wet pavement. All right, very good. Excellent, guys. Let's continue our practice, our review. I have another activity here. So in this activity, we're going to review the topic for Unit 2, the use of prefixes and suffixes to make adjectives, all right? So you are going to complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb in parentheses, the word in parentheses, okay? So you're going to use prefixes and suffixes to create an adjective that is appropriate for the sentence. We have an example. We met at el verbo es arrange. We met at a time and place. Entonces, el adjetivo era pre-arranged time and place. Ustedes van a usar la palabra que esté en paréntesis para crear un adjetivo apropiado para esa oración. ¿Ok? Usando prefijos y sufijos. All right? Let me know when you finish so we can check and we can continue with some other practice activities. All right, guys, ready? Do you have the answers for this exercise? Or not yet?
A minute, miss.
Okay. Okay, let's start checking. So let's start maybe with Maria. For the first sentence, can you read it with the word that you selected to complete it, please?
I feel really uncomfortable in this seat as I'm not used to wearing smart clothes.
Yes, it is correct. So the first word here is uncomfortable. Good. Number 2, thank you, Maria. Marlon, number 2.
Number 2, I feel really frustrating. Yes, yes. When I can't explain myself clearly.
Yes, it's frustrating when I can't explain myself clearly. Okay, good. Natalia, number 3. We have been
Unpaid.
unpaid, like this.
Yes.
No, in this case, the prefix is over. I've been overpaid. Me han pagado de más. So I need to give some money back. Debo devolver algo del dinero, ¿no? I have to give some money back. I've been overpaid, so I need to give some money back. Vanessa, number 4.
Teacher sounds really very excited because it's his birthday tomorrow.
The word is excited because it's his birthday tomorrow. Okay. And Xiomara, the last one. It was a
Teacher, a question. In floor, is possible sounds really very excited?
really.
Or only excited?
Why not very? It's not necessary. Ya tienes el really. Entonces no es necesario very. Okay. Ya está really. Xiomara, do you have the answer for number 5? It was a flight. So we flew directly from Singapore to New York. No? Okay, anyone? Do you have the answer for number 5?
Non-stop.
Teacher.
Non-stop. Yes, the answer is non-stop flight. Un vuelo directo, non-stop flight directly from Singapore to New York. Okay. Good. Okay, let's continue with another exercise that we have here. Now let's review the nouns, okay? Estábamos viendo los adjetivos, ahora vamos a ver los sustantivos y los gerundios, okay? Remember? So we have some words here, and you're going to transform them to complete each sentence. Entonces, las palabras que están acá arriba las vamos a usar para, las transformamos, bien sea en sustantivo o en gerundio, para completar las oraciones. Por ejemplo, pollute, tenemos el verbo pollute. La transformación queda, the pollution caused by the heavy traffic in the city center is particularly bad in the summer. Okay? So you're going to do the same with all the other words. Real, read, mother, psychology, and criticize. Okay, let's take some minutes. Let me know when you finish, guys, when you are ready. So we check and we can continue our practice. All right, guys, let me know when you are ready.
Ready, teacher?
Okay, so I think we can start correcting. Let's hear now, maybe we can hear Jorge for the first sentence. We each create our own.
Criticism? I don't know.
No. No. Who has the answer for number one? We create our own
Reality.
reality. Yes. Based on our perception of what is going on around us. So we take the first word is real and we transform it to a noun that is reality. Okay, good. Kiara, can you read the second sentence, please?
James is studying to be a psychologist because he is fascinated by human behavior.
Yes, by a psychologist because he is fascinated by human behavior. All right. Let's hear Diego, number 3.
Mom really sweet Luz. You can tell she's devoted to her children.
In this case, it's not mom. Is what? Anyone has the answer?
Motherhood.
Motherhood. Yes, la maternidad. Motherhood really suits Luis. Le sienta a Luis. La maternidad le sienta a Luis. Okay. Beatriz, do you have the answer for number 4? It's hard to accept.
Teacher, it's hard to accept criticism without feeling upset, but it can be very useful with constructive.
Yes, it's hard to accept criticism without feeling upset, but it can be very useful when constructive. Criticism. All right. And the last one, let's hear maybe Manuel is not here in class. Just a moment, let me check my list. Oh no, he's not in class. So let's hear maybe Marlon. There is nothing better, in my opinion, than
Criticisms?
no, the only missing word is read. La única que falta es read. Entonces, ¿cómo la pondrías?
Reading?
Reading, yes, is a gerund. Eso es un gerundio. No hay nada mejor que leer un buen libro than reading a good book. Okay? So listen, guys, these exercises are very important because there are similar exercises in the test, in the exam, right? En el examen siempre tenemos ese tipo de preguntas donde nos dan una palabra que debemos usar para completar una oración que tenga un significado similar a la que nos dan. Entonces, este tipo de ejercicios nos ayudan mucho para eso, reconocer cuándo usamos un sustantivo, cuándo necesitamos un adjetivo, un gerundio, un verbo y demás, ¿ok? So, it's very, very important. Okay. All right, guys, I have another activity. We are going to review the use of auxiliary verbs and also prepositions. I have a quizzes, so I will open the link. Entonces vamos a repasar el uso de los verbos auxiliares. Recuerdan, para dar énfasis, las tag questions, para mostrar interés y demás, ¿ok? Y también el uso de preposiciones en ciertas frases. Okay, I will open the link for you to participate. Just give me a moment. All right, let's join the quiz, guys.
Miss, sorry, can you show the code, please? Thank you.
Okay, we have 11 students. Let's start.
Share a minute.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's finish the activity and we will compare the answers at the end. Finish it. Okay, let's see who are the winners today. Jorge, Mandy, and Natalia. Very good. Well done. Okay, very good results. Let's see. So we can check together. Have you remembered your keys? Of course I have. Okay, this is the auxiliary verb to avoid repetition. Okay, esta la función es para evitar repetición. Of course I have. Do you think John will give up his job? He says he will. Okay, según la oración, la respuesta era will. He says he will. Okay, Max really loves Jackie. Doesn't he? Es una tag question. Doesn't he? Next, I want to go traveling next year. Do you? Okay, is a question to ask to show interest, okay? To prove interest in the sentence. Do you? Alice and Fiona went to the same school. Oh, did they? Como el verbo estaba en pasado, usábamos el auxiliar did. Oh, did they? Good. Next, Lucy is going to organize a surprise party for her parents. Is she? El verbo auxiliar era is. Is she? What is the occasion? All right. Now we had the prepositions. Ahora el uso de las preposiciones. Bella has always been jealous of, okay? Jealous of her sister. That is a correct preposition with the word jealous. Another one. I don't have anything in common with my brother. Number 9. Why do you feel inferior to your classmates? You don't have no reason to. Okay, the preposition was to. And number 10, Sally is so much fun to be with. Okay, to be with. We always have a really good time together. And finally, number 11, I don't know many teenagers who get on with their parents and have a good relationship. Entonces la expresión get on, el llevarse bien, get on with their parents. All right? Any questions about the activity, about the quizzes?
No, miss.
No questions? All right. Let's do, I have one more last exercise for today, guys. And that was it, okay? That will be it for today. So let me show you. Okay. So to finish today, let's review the use of the passive voice, okay? I have 5 sentences here. So you're going to transform them using the passive voice. Las vamos a transformar para que signifiquen lo mismo del ejemplo que tenemos, pero usando la voz pasiva, ¿no? El ejemplo dice, they say David has a very high IQ. Ellos dicen que David tiene un coeficiente intelectual alto. Entonces, la transformación sería, David is said to have a very high IQ, okay? So you're going to try to do the same with all the other sentences, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Let's have some minutes to work on that and these sentences, and we will correct them to finish for today, okay? 5 minutes, and then we check. All right, guys, let's see. Tell me, please, if you finished the sentences so we can check them together. All right, let's see what you got, guys. So for the first sentence, you should involve everyone in the decision making. Does anyone have an answer for this one? Okay, Santiago.
Maybe in the decision making should be involved everyone.
Okay, we can say everyone should be involved in the decision making. Everyone should be involved in the decision making. All right. For the second one, do you think you can teach creativity? Manuela, I see you.
No, teacher, it's so difficult for me. I can do it.
Okay. Let's see. Do you think you can teach creativity? Any idea of how can we change the sentence? Para cambiar ese you can a voz pasiva. ¿Crees que tú puedes enseñar la creatividad? ¿O crees que la creatividad puede ser enseñada? Okay, that would be in Spanish, right? So it's the same in English. I will show you the answers. Aquí nos pedían cambiar este you can teach creativity para que ya no tenga esa voz activa, sino pasarlo a la voz pasiva. Do you think creativity can be taught? Okay, ¿crees que la creatividad puede ser enseñada? Can be taught. Tomamos el verbo y le pasamos la voz pasiva, can be taught. Number 3, a lot of people believe that everyone has a guardian angel. Entonces, acá lo que teníamos que cambiar era este a lot of people. Como no tenemos un sujeto claro o conciso, sino everyone is believed to have a guardian angel. Aquí tomamos este. Entonces, se cree que todos tenemos un ángel guardián, ¿ok? Everyone is believed to have a guardian angel. Number 4, you create reality through your thought processes. Tú creas realidad mediante tus procesos cognitivos o de pensamiento. Entonces, aquí quitábamos este you y dejamos como el sujeto reality, en lo que nos vamos a enfocar. Reality is created, es creada through your thought processes, ¿ok? Y la última, you shouldn't allow children to do what they want. No debes permitirle a los niños hacer lo que quieren. Entonces, los niños no deben ser permitidos o no se les debe permitir hacer lo que quieren. Children shouldn't be allowed to do what they want. All right? So, I know this is a bit difficult, but it's important for you to practice, especially the passive voice. We can maybe find some exercises in the test related to passive voice, okay? So that is all for today, guys. That was the last activity. So that's, I will see you tomorrow for our speaking part. Mañana les envío en el transcurso de la tarde los grupos y las situaciones para el examen de speaking del B1.4. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye. Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye, Miss.